Hello, it's Mr. Wrestling Fan on 3 TV, and today I'm going to talk about Penn versus Diaz. And I haven't made a video in a long time, and this might be the biggest video I've ever made this week. And now I'm going to talk about Penn versus Diaz, UFC 137. The card is so stacked. They got Mitrione, everybody in the card, and let's start out with the first fight of the night. Dustin, Jacoby versus Clifford Starks. I think that Clifford Starks will win via decision. Clifford Starks a good guy, and I watched a couple of his fights when he was, in the independent MMA promotion. So I think Clifford Starks is gonna win this fight, and that's the first fight on Facebook. So I'm gonna watch that tomorrow night. I hope you guys watch that on Facebook or on your stream, whatever. Francis Carmont versus Chris Camozzi. I think Chris Camozzi is gonna win via KO. He's a veteran. Ultimate Fighter veteran. He's a very, very great guy. He just won his fight at Shark Fights. Yeah, because Shark Fights is a pretty good company. He just defeated somebody at Shark Fights. I think it was like KO submission, but I was pretty impressed with that. I was pretty impressed with Chris Camozzi. I wasn't that impressed when he got choked out by Kyle Noak. That was when he was a UFC 127. That was a pretty great fight. Well, it was like 1 minute or so, but I still like Chris Camozzi. I liked him on Ultimate Fighter, and he's just a cool guy on Ultimate Fighter and everything. So I just can't wait for that fight. The third fight, I cannot wait for this fight. It's going to be a great fight. Ramsey Nijem versus Danny Downs. I think Ramsey Nijem's going to win via rear naked choke. I think Danny Downs doesn't have no strength at all. The only thing he has is stand up. Ramsey has some stand up because he kinda outstriked he outstriked Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson is a great striker. He's the best striker in the lightweight division, kind of. And Ramsey Nijem just got kind of confident. He just got knocked out. So I cannot wait until he fight Danny Downs tomorrow night. I think he's gonna win via rear naked choke in the first round or second round. The fourth fight, I cannot wait for this one. And then they're fighting for their jobs too. Brandon Vera versus Eliot Marshall. I think Brandon Vera is gonna win. Well, I don't know who's gonna win. I like Eliot Marshall too. He's a great fighter. Some Ultimate Fighter team. Forrest Griffin versus Rampage. He was a great guy on that. Eliot Marshall, great jiu-jitsu guy. Goes to good camp in Greg Jackson's gym, and he's just a great fighter. And if he loses this fight, he's gonna get released, of course. Brandon Vera, he just lost almost 3 of his fights. He's on two fight losing streak now, but he lost to Thiago Silva, but he got back. He got back to his job. So I can't wait for this fight. They're talking a little bit trash. Like Eliot Marshall was saying that on MMA Weekly. He said that Brandon Vera's not taking this fight that hard, and then Brandon Vera said that this is gonna be the best Brandon Vera you've ever seen. But I think we're not gonna see the best Brandon Vera. Probably not, because he said that Thiago Silva fight too, and look what happened. So I think Eliot Marshall's gonna win via unanimous decision. Palaszewski versus Tyson Griffin. I think Tyson Griffin is gonna win via decision. I love Tyson Griffin. Him versus Frankie Edgar was a great fight. That I was so impressed with Tyson Griffin. I could watch that like 20 times a day. I just love that fight, and that's why I love this sport, because it's just a great. They have great fights, and I think Tyson Griffin's gonna win this fight easily. So it's gonna be on a Sprite preliminary. So don't miss them fights. The fights are sick. This might be one of the best ones on here. Dennis Siver versus Donald Cerrone. This gonna be a great fight. I cannot wait for this fight. You know, Dennis Siver did kind of slack off at UFC 132 when he won by decision though, because I thought Matt Wyman won that fight. So you know, that was kind of like a fluke. So I think Dennis Siver's gonna do even better in this fight tomorrow night on Spike. But Donald Cerrone's a beast. He just, you know, dominated Charles Oliveira, just ground and pounded Charles Oliveira. You know, I'm really impressed with him. He tapped out Paul Kelly at UFC 126. He beat James Whitehead at wait, no, that's not his name, but he beat somebody else at UFC 132. You know, I was not impressed with him, but he still had a dominant win. So I'm impressed. Now, this is one of the best fights on the card too. Jeff Curran versus Scott Jorgensen. Gonna be a great fight. I think Jeff Curran, Team Curran, I like that camp. Team Curran, they got a whole lot of talented guys. I like Jeff Curran. You know, he's the guy that really made the camp. You know, they have a whole lot of guys. Pat Curran, all them great guys. But he's gonna be against a heavy, great wrestler, Scott Jorgensen. You know, this guy just at the finale, he just ground and pounded this guy out, and I just cannot wait for him to fight. This gonna be a really great fight, fast-paced ground fight to me, and I think that Jeff Curran's gonna win via decision. So that's my opinion. I still like Scott Jorgensen. Now I cannot wait for this heavyweight bout: Mirko Cro Cop versus Roy Nelson. I cannot wait for this fight. I think this should be the Coleman event in the evening. You know, cause Roy Nelson is fighting for his job too, and Mirko Cro Cop. So I'm pretty excited for this fight. Mirko Cro Cop just got 2 KOs from Brendan Schaub and Frank Mir. One, he got hit with a knee, he got knocked out, and then by Frank Mir, and Brendan Schaub just knocked him out with his fist. Of course, that's Brendan Schaub's trademark. But you know, Roy Nelson, he's a beast too. So he's a top level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He was in the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu tournament, beat Frank Mir by points, and you know that means something by beating Frank Mir in a Jiu-Jitsu tournament. You know how hard that is. Of all people, Frank Mir, one of the best Jiu-Jitsu guys in the world. So I was pretty impressed with that. I think Roy Nelson's gonna win by KO. I think this was the second featherweight fight. Hioki versus George Roop. I cannot wait for this fight. Can't wait to see Hioki. I think they should have put Tyson Griffin except George Roop, but you never know what happened. You will never know what happens in that fight. But Hioki is a beast. He just won the Dream Grand Prix, and you know, I bet you if he wins this fight, I'm sorry people, but it's gonna be a great fight with Hioki versus George Roop. It's a sick fight, and I think that Hioki is gonna win the fight via submission. The co-main event: Cheick Kongo versus Mitrione. I think that it's gonna be a great fight, all stand up. Well, you never know. Mitrione might put Cheick Kongo on the ground. You never know. I think Matt Mitrione. I think he has a lot of confidence in his fight. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Look at overconfidence in Melvin Gallar, and look what happened to him. And I think that Matt Mitrione is gonna win this fight via submission. I think he's gonna win this fight via submission. I like his ground skills. I know that people think his ground skills are bad because Stephen Warcraft put him on the ground and everything, but that don't matter because Stephen Warcraft is a really great jiu-jitsu guy, and Matt Mitrione, you know, he just knocked out everybody. Knocked out Marcus Jones, Stephen Warcraft, Tim Hague. He almost KO'd Joey Beltran. He KO'd some other people too, but You know, it's gonna be a great fight for the co-main event. I thought Mirko versus Roy Nelson would have been the co-main event, but still, it's still gonna be a great fight. And now the main event in the evening, on that poster right there, BJ Penn versus Nick Diaz. Gonna be a great fight. I cannot wait for this fight. I'm so excited for this fight. This might be like the second best welterweight fight of the year. I know that Jorgensen versus Jake Shields was the welterweight fight of the year, but I think this is the main one. The former Strikeforce welterweight champion versus the former UFC welterweight champion and lightweight champion, BJ Penn. And I'm so excited for this fight. You know how excited I am for this fight, and I think that BJ Penn is gonna win this fight via KO. I know Nick Diaz got some great hands. I have a whole lot of respect for Nick Diaz. You know, he's a money fighter, just like everybody in this. But I'm just kind of mad that he wants to go to boxing. All that talent he has in mixed martial arts, he wants to go to boxing, of all sports. But you know that's what just gotta do what you gotta do. So I think that BJ Penn's gonna win this fight via KO. Nick Diaz, I think he's too confident. I know he's saying that BJ Penn's better than George St. Pierre and everything. You know, that's his opinion, but I think that George St. Pierre better than BJ Penn because he beat him twice. So, you know, it's gonna be a great fight. It's gonna be a great event to watch. $45. I'd rather spend $100 for this. So I cannot wait for this fight. Like, this is a must watch. And this is a video from Wrestling Fan 03 TV. And this is Wrestling Fan 03 TV signing out.